Hello, this is Brian, your Marion County Extension Agent, and today I want to talk to you about a little bit about making hay and cutting height, mowing height of the forages that you could be cutting. There's been a lot of hay laid down this past week. We had a kind of a dry spell in between the rains. There is some rain coming up over the weekend, but I just wanted to bring up a point of reference as to the mowing height and the importance of that, and why we're concerned with that. Well, different forages, different plants, species will have growth reserves, but all of them will have growth reserves, but it's a matter of the species as to where they store those. Some store them in the roots, some low on the stem, some high on the stem, and they also require some leaf area for regrowth. And so we'll kind of go over each one of those and talk about the cutting height for those. The first one that we'll talk about is the plants that store their regrowth reserves in the roots. And an example of that would be alfalfa. So with alfalfa, if it's a good healthy stand, mowing height isn't that critical. You can cut it off pretty low, anywhere from about an inch to 2 inches, and you're not really going to hurt the regrowth of that plant. Other species like Bermuda grass or white clover, ladino clover, they spread by stolons, and you can cut them off pretty low. It's actually, an inch is fine, or lower. And with Bermuda grass, the lower you cut, it actually can help to reduce the amount of other competitive grass species, because other species can't survive and you cut that low, but Bermuda grass is fine. What is being cut right now is a lot of our cool season grasses, such as fescue and orchard grass. It also would include some of our cool season annuals, such as wheat and ryegrass. And those you can cut 2 to 3 inches. Their reserves are in their lower stem, and they do require some leaf area left. So 2 to 3 inch mowing height for those is kind of good rule of thumb. And this is a good example here. I'd set it about 2.5 inches from what I'm reading it. You can probably read it better from where you're at and the angle of the camera. But check a couple different places across the field as you cut. Here's a good example of about a 2.5 inch cut. And we're measuring from the soil line up to where the stem's cut. Next, there would be the summer annuals, and that would be pearl millet, Sudan grass, sorghum Sudan hybrids. And these require more of a stubble and a higher cut height, anywhere from 6 to 8 inches. If you're not used to that, that's kind of hard to make yourself do, because you feel like you're leaving a lot of plant out there, a lot of hay out in the field. But when it makes the difference between having a second cutting and not, it just makes sense to leave that stubble out there. And once you measure it, look at it, and get it figured out, it's not as much as it sounds. So with those, they have their reserves a little higher on the stem, and they do require some leaf area for regrowth. So you want to be around 6 to 8 inches on them. So to do this, you pay a little more attention to how you set up your mower. Go out there with a tape measure and measure the from the ground up to your blades, and that's going to be your mowing height. Kind of check across the cutter bar, see what your average is, and make adjustments as you need to. Of course, adjustments are going to depend on the manufacturer. It seems like to me a lot of the mowers, they don't have cutting height, at least the higher heights in mind when they're designed. But get with expert on, the dealer or whoever on your particular brand, and they can help you get it set up. They can also give you a lot of other pointers about how to set up if you have a conditioner on your mower and things like that. But it's worth the effort to get the correct mowing height. It'll encourage your grasses to be thicker and grow back quicker, and you'll have less weed pressure. And so anyways, I just wanted to talk with y'all about that. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. Will you get out of the shot? Sit. You too. Okay.